little biased, but I think it's definitely the best ambiance in Bethlehem. It's you're sitting on a rooftop eating a filet mignon and drinking a cocktail or a nice glass of wine and enjoying with friends or family, or a business meal, or we have private events and all kinds of different things going on there.
Welcome to YMI Talking, a podcast where the guests are so good, you'll wonder why the host is even talking. In each episode, you will hear one of the leaders of the Lehigh Valley's vibrant business hub. They will tell you the keys to their success, the mistakes they've made, and what they have in store for the future. Here is the host of YMI Talking, from YMI Insurance, Jimmy Honachik.
All right, that is me, Jimmy Honachik, and I'm joined by Emily Ellis.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I know this is our second time recording it.
Yeah.
And the first time I gave you a much better intro than this one.
That's okay.
I need to have a bunch of adjectives ready to go to describe you.
I was wonderful the first time. I don't know if you said anything.
This time you were just Emily Ellis. You are wonderful still, though.
Thank you.
You know what else is wonderful?
What?
That's called a segue. Great segue. This room has been wonderful.
It has. I'm going to miss it.
Yeah, we are wrapping up. This is our last podcast ever in this podcast studio.
Yeah, so sad.
It served us really well. I think season 1 was all virtual, but then season 2, we busted this out. And then we made the acquisition of the Robertson Group in April. And so we're going to close down our Allentown office and our Bethlehem office and move into their offices. Yeah. And I'm having Modesty build out the Bethlehem podcast studio.
I'm excited to see how it looks. That space is definitely different than this one. It's going to be more like retro vibes.
Yeah, I don't know how to figure it out. That's why I was like, Modesty, you need to do this. I can't do it. It's a big conference room with a nice table. But if anyone can do it, it's Modesty.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it'll be nice. But yeah, this is our last one here.
So sad.
So many memories. But the guest today, incredible, amazing. Wonderful. Cool. I'm just referencing my adjectives again. Anthony Trapani from so many restaurants. In Allentown, we got Grill 3501. In Bethlehem, we got Zest. And then in Easton, we got Thyme. Yeah. They've, like I said on the podcast, they've taken over Lehigh Valley.
They have.
They've got each city, yeah. And the food at each one of those is incredible. The service is incredible. And I thought his conversation was really good.
Very good, yeah.
We should know better than to schedule these around lunchtime.
I know. I haven't had my lunch yet, so I'm pretty
I went and stuffed my face as soon as he walked out the door, because just listening to him describe their food made me very hungry.
Very hungry.
Yeah. So let's listen to him describe the food.
Cool.
Here we go. Anthony, take it away. We get some great restaurants on here. I don't know that we've ever had one person who represents 3 great restaurants, and I couldn't be more excited about this. If you live in the Valley, if you've been near the Valley, you probably know all 3 of these. We're talking Zest, we're talking Thyme, we're talking Grill 3501, and we're talking it all with Anthony Trapani. Thank you so much for coming on here.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. Happy to be here.
Absolutely. So let's start with which one's your favorite? You have to pick.
I don't think there's any favorite for me.
Yeah.
They're all have unique places, in my heart and, my family and I. But I guess thinking of how I kind of came to be, Grill 3501, I worked there growing up. So just a little background. It's my parents and my sister and I, and we're all involved in the business. My mom's a nurse, but she's like semi-retired now. But she's always, she's like the kind of like the sounding board for everybody in a sense. But anyways, so I worked at Grill 3501 growing up. So that is like, near and dear in that sense. And then Zest was kind of when I finished college, and I helped open and run that, through COVID and things like that. And then Thyme, we were able to get my sister on board. So each of them have kind of taken a unique place for me in different chapters of my life and things like that. So it's hard to say that the one is the favorite. I probably spend most of the more of my time at Zest and Thyme, and then my dad kind of spends more time at Grill 3501 because that's kind of like his OG spot. But yeah, that's probably the best way I can answer that.
Do you guys think of yourself like you do everything right? And I'm just thinking about real estate in particular. Those are all in such great spots. Like, how much do you guys think about real estate, and how important is that in the restaurant game?
I mean, I definitely think location is important. 3501 right down the street here is kind of like a little like West End, Allentown, like kind of safe haven kind of feel, like very neighborhood oriented, a lot of consistent regulars in there that are, in there once or twice a week, and familiar faces we see all the time. And then Zest. So I'm a Lehigh University graduate, born and raised in Bethlehem as well. So my last semester my last semester I moved back in with my parents because I transferred and blah, 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 whatever. And so I was driving past the building that Zest is currently in every day. And I was seeing it going up. And I've always been interested in development and things like that. And the owner actually came into 3501 and asked if we'd be interested in seeing it. And I had spent, a few years on the south side in particular at Lehigh. Yeah. And, they have a lot of things going on with development and, revitalization down there. So that's kind of how that came to be. And then we initially looked at the ground floor level there, which we were like, okay, we're kind of interested in that. But they took us up to the 6th floor. And then once we saw that, they were like, well, what if the 6th floor doesn't work out? And we're like, well, then there's not going to be a restaurant. You shouldn't have showed us that. But so I think, that aspect of it is, was important. Also having that parking garage directly attached to it is huge. If we didn't have that, there probably wouldn't be a restaurant there, right? There's like 600 spaces in the New Street garage. We validate parking for our guests for 2 hours. So those kind of all different factors into it. Lehigh University is a huge factor for, the graduations and the parents' weekend and the sporting events, things like that. And then with Thyme, we were just really intrigued by joining the city of Easton. They have a lot of stuff going on down there. Really impressed with the job that they do, bringing people downtown every weekend. And they just made us feel really welcome. And then the owner of that building reached out to us on Instagram at Zest and said, hey, I have this space opening. We're developing this building, blah, blah, blah. And so we went down and we checked it out. And once we saw it, we're kind of sold. The views are beautiful, overlooking, the 2 bridges, the Delaware and Lehigh River confluence. And, and then you get some more of the College Hill look and the downtown area as well. So I think each place has a unique thing, but I think it is important, obviously, with your location and making sure you're hitting that right mark for people.
I want to dive into kind of each one of them and what makes them unique. But as you're talking about this, I cannot stop thinking, like, how are you doing it? How are you scaling like that? Because each restaurant's its own unique thing. How do you guys, find the capacity to be able to do that?
It's a team effort between my family and I, but also like we have probably around 140 employees. So we have executive chefs at each restaurant. We have general managers. We have a corporate chef who helps out at all 3. So I think having the right people in place, being consistent with what you're offering for your employees as an employer and also to your guests. I think consistency is key for any business, really. If you come in and you have the boneless short ribs, they should taste the same today as they're going to taste 2 weeks from now. And the presentation should look the same. Same if, you order a martini, it should taste the same today as it would 2 weeks from now. And same with your service, right? Like, you don't want to be, we don't have like a corporate, service guide in the sense of like, okay, you're going to say these 3 things when you get to the table or whatnot. But, you want to see familiar people when you walk through the door, especially, at 3501, we've had people that have worked there for 15, 20 years now.
Yeah.
Zest, we have an OG crew of 4 or 5 servers that have worked there for 7.5 years since we've opened.
Wow.
And even at Thyme, we have a nice chunk of people that have been with us since opening. And in the restaurant industry, that's definitely not common.
Yeah.
But we try to provide the best workplace possible. So I think that all kind of factors into keeping things consistent and providing quality across the board.
What goes into making it the best workplace possible? You hear the stories of the restaurant industry and how difficult it is. So how are you guys able to make that the best it can be for your employees?
I mean, it's tough, I think ultimately the job is what the job is, we need people to fill certain roles. Not always the most glamorous roles, but they need to be done. The restaurant is the sum of the parts. You need those bus boys or bussers. You need dishwashers. You need prep cooks. You need hostesses and hosts and servers, and it's everything kind of goes into it. And then, for our real core people, our full-time salary people, we're proud. We have medical insurance available if they want medical insurance that they can have. We have a simple IRA match plan that we match 3% to give them a retirement savings. We have paid vacation. We have sick days. So really just try to give them a career in a place that they can be proud of and call home.
Yeah, no, that's great. All right, let's talk about my favorite, the food. Thyme, what stood out to me was it bread and butter, like there's some sort of specialty there. And that was incredible. That blew my mind. And then the whole dish, like how do you find these recipes or how do you come up with these recipes to make this all so unique?
So I'm not really going to take any of the credit for the kitchen aspect of things. I'll give my input. I think kind of like our style is like approachable but elevated in terms of what we offer on our menus. But each restaurant has an executive chef that helps craft the individual menu. We change it seasonally. But we'll have staples, right? Like, we have things that we want to see on each menu and things like that. But overall, it's, we try to give them that creative outlet to put on what they want. We'll get feedback. We try things, obviously. And if it doesn't work, we'll take it off. But I think keeping it fresh and seasonal is also important. But yeah, each of our chefs do a great job in kind of bringing their own personal creativity to the menu and then it kind of showcasing through that.
If you ever need to take a break from trying things, like I'm always here. I'm always looking for another gig.
I'll keep that in mind.
Let's talk about you a little bit though. So you are born and raised in Lehigh Valley. Talk to me about kind of growing up here, the family business and kind of just that aspect of who's Anthony.
Sure. Yeah. So I was born and raised in Bethlehem. I went to Bethlehem Catholic and then actually went to Rutgers for a little bit, came back and went to Northampton Community College and then transferred to Lehigh. And that's where I finished up and got my degree from the business school there. But yeah, growing up, I always was like helping out. I was, when I was younger, I would be like a busser or a food runner. And then when I was in college, I served and I bartended sparingly, mostly as a server. And then wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. And when I was at Lehigh, I had an internship at one of like the larger companies for the summer, and I just didn't really enjoy it. Yeah. And I think that was important because it kind of lent me to what I didn't want to do. I didn't want to have like that typical kind of structure and schedule. And that kind of led me to more of the entrepreneurial path. I think that it was really important learning experience for me. It was a miserable 10 weeks for me, but, I got through it obviously. And, I think if you start something, you should always finish it. And, but it was important to kind of shape me into knowing, okay, this isn't what I want. I want the control and flexibility to work for myself and for my family and then kind of go from there. And
so coming out of school, did you go right into the family business then? Like you had already said, I don't want, any of these other things. It's this for me.
I think, well, yes, basically. So I had that internship that summer. Then I finished my fall semester at Lehigh because I lost some credits when I transferred and stuff. So I had that extra semester. So that's when I moved back in with my parents. And when I forget what I was saying now.
If you went back into
yes. They basically sat me down and they're like, okay, like, if you want to do this, we're going to do it. My parents. And like, I was like, I took like a week. I remember I talked to like professor that I really looked up to at Lehigh. And I was like, hey, I think I want to do this path and like, go with my family and do it. And I thought about it for a few days. And then I was like, you know what, let's do it. Yeah. And this short story of kind of how Zest officially became a thing.
Yeah. That's awesome. And was dad supportive from the beginning? Because I know family dynamics can always be strange. Like was dad welcoming and ready to bring you in?
Yeah, he definitely, they were looking for any reason to keep us in the area.
Oh, that must be nice. My dad tried to get rid of me as far as he could, but that's awesome.
So we're definitely a close family. And, most of the, like I was just down, we're fortunate enough we have a residence in Ocean City, New Jersey. So I was just down there and, just go pop down for 2 days and, we'll talk business a little bit. We'll hang out. It's definitely a good relationship between my family and I.
Yeah. And is your mom, I imagine like when it's you, your dad, your brother, or not your brother, your sister, the three of you talking business, is mom cool with that? Does mom feel neglected?
No. Yeah,
Okay.
she definitely is 100% a part of the team.
Yeah.
She's like the sounding board, and she's got a great understanding of what's going on. She actually did most of our interior and like our design work for Thyme.
Oh, wow.
So when you walk in there and some of the artwork that's in there, some of the overall feel and layout, she has played a crucial part in helping us kind of pick that out, and definitely talks my dad off the ledge sometimes too. So.
I'm always surprised at how much goes into running a restaurant. Like, you think it's the food, but like you just said, your mom helped with the design. How do you guys structure it so that you're able to tackle all of that?
I think, having a good team is important, right? Like I said, like before with our employees, I think that's definitely a crucial part of it. And then just, we each kind of have things that we're good at or maybe not good at. And I don't know, we kind of we make it work.
Yeah.
There's certain areas that I might be a little bit more suited, if we're working with you have a full-time marketing person, like if maybe I'm working with a little bit more than my dad is, right? Because I have a better understanding of today's climate, but then his input is invaluable with, fixing certain things or, just seeing things that have come along over the years. Because Grill 3501 will actually be celebrating 25 years in November.
Wow.
So like that's a lot of years of knowledge and experience in that sense. Yeah.
Well, I was going to ask about that. So 25 years. Were you there when they started it? Because it was a completely different themed restaurant before, right? It was
before the grill.
Yeah.
It was Charlie's, not Charlie's. It was Trinkle's.
Yes. Yeah.
Trinkle's. It was like a seafood kind of place. I was 6 when it opened, so I was young.
Yeah.
So I remember it slightly a little bit, but
it was kind of always there for you, really.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically my whole life growing up, it was there. Yeah.
So then you saw that, but then with Zest, that's really you kind of taking ownership and stepping into a leadership role. Did you feel ready for that coming into that?
I think I was young, right? So I was like 23, 24. So I was like a little, like, I remember like going into it thinking like how, I feel like I'm going to be managing people that are all older than me. Like, how are they going to feel about that? But I kind of it just happens, right? Like, if you get like thinking about something ahead of time doesn't usually do you any good.
Yeah.
I mean, a little bit. You don't want to feel unprepared, but, worrying about an outcome that's down the road is not going to really serve you any benefit, in my opinion. So, I think it kind of just naturally came to be. I try to have a good outlook and be fair to everybody and treat everybody with respect. And like I said earlier, like give them a solid place to be at and want to be there. I want our employees to be happy because they're going to ultimately then represent the restaurant better and themselves better. And it just leads to a better situation for everyone.
And how great is that spot? I mean, let's just talk about it for a second. Like overlooking the South Side, you can have a meal out there. It's something magical about it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm a little biased, but I think it's definitely the best ambiance in Bethlehem. It's you're sitting on a rooftop eating a filet mignon and drinking a cocktail or a nice glass of wine and enjoying with friends or family or a business meal or we have private events and all kinds of different things going on up there. But yeah, I'm definitely really awesome.
Talk to me about that, because obviously I think about going there for a date or going there with friends. But what kind of private events do you do?
So we have 2. excuse me. We have 2 fully private dining rooms. One holds up to 25, the other up to 40.
Wow.
So we'll do rehearsal dinners, business dinners in there, birthday dinners, all kinds of things like that. Then we also utilize some of our bar area for like a cocktail style mingling event, like happy hours. We have had a few weddings recently, big bridal showers. So right now we're closed on Sundays, but our goal is to open specifically for a larger event on a Sunday, right? So like maybe like 75 to 100 people event. We can hold up to like 200 in reality. If we shut the restaurant down for it. So just seeing that kind of trend in the industry of people still wanting to have those style events, especially in a rooftop restaurant with that atmosphere.
Yeah. No, that's great. And I didn't even think about closing the restaurant down to have the event there. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah. We try to do it in different hours, right? Like I don't want to close down for a Saturday night, unless somebody wants to pay it a high price tag, because you don't want to upset people that are coming in for dinner. You have to be consistent and with your hours and, expectations for people.
Yep. Interesting. Talk to me about Zest and opening it up. So you come out of college, you're going into this role. It's your first sort of leadership role. And then you're not too far into it and COVID hits, right? Just how did you manage that?
So at the time, it was just Zest and 3501. We closed down, and then we did like some curbside delivery and stuff. We combined them for 3501 and Zest, and we just to kind of keep our name out there and brand. We didn't make any money, but it was to get some employees working a little bit and just keeping like our brand and name out there, right? So we did that, and then when we could do like outdoor dining and stuff, like I remember like they did the phases and whatnot. So we had, luckily enough, we have a lot of outdoor dining there. Yeah. So that kind of really helped us like get somewhat normal a little bit quicker than maybe most. And then as things progressed, we, opened up more and more. And like I said, we had a lot of outdoor tables. We probably have 15 on one side and we probably have like almost 30 outdoor tables. Wow. Between both sides. So that was able, that's a decent amount of business. Yeah, for sure. It wasn't normal, but it helped us kind of get back there a little bit quicker. All
right. So you've got Allentown with 3501. You've got Zest in Bethlehem. And now you guys have conquered Easton with Thyme. Are you done? Is this the end? Or are you guys always looking for new challenges?
I don't know. I mean, I think new challenges, I don't see another restaurant right now. But, we're open, like I said, I think the entrepreneurial aspect of myself and my family, if an opportunity presents itself, I definitely think if it's the right one, we would jump into it, whether it's restaurant industry or something else or whatever it might be, as long as it makes sense.
Oh, you piqued my interest. It couldn't be something even outside of the restaurant industry.
I don't know. That's just me talking. Yeah, that's just me talking. That's not like a teaser or anything.
Yeah. And then I believe, so you're married, right?
Yes.
Is your wife supportive of like the crazy lifestyle? I imagine as an entrepreneur, it's never consistent hours.
Yeah. She's very supportive. She's the best.
Yeah. And you told us beforehand, you guys are expecting?
Yep. Yeah. We're going to have our first baby. Due date is August 18th. So right around the corner, and really excited for that new chapter.
By the time this airs, you will have a child. How cool is that?
It's kind of crazy, but it'll be good.
Yeah, you guys all ready? You pick everything out?
Yeah, we're getting there.
Yeah.
Certain things I'm not like, I'm not the type A kind of guy to have things ready 3 months in advance.
Yes.
Yeah. We just put this weekend I put together like some little stuff, and then we're getting the baby room slowly ready. So it'll get there.
My firstborn just turned 12 and I'm still getting things together. Yeah. So don't worry. You're all right.
Sounds good.
So, I mean, we are sponsored this season by the Swiftwater Hotel in Swiftwater, Pennsylvania, in Poconos. And it's a beautiful hotel, and it's really the best vacation you can take in the Poconos. And so we've been asking all of our guests, what's the best vacation you've ever taken?
The best vacation I've ever taken. We went to, it was 3 years ago now. It was, we went to Greece.
Okay.
And we went to our friend's wedding. Her family is like from this island called Chios there, which was really cool experience. And then my wife has some family that lives in Lebanon. Wow. And they actually have a place in Greece. So we went and visited them in their house there. So we stayed with them for a while. And then we went to this little island called Milos, and the water was just like the craziest colors I've ever seen. Definitely like a great like honeymoon kind of spot.
Yeah.
Super quiet, but just like so beautiful. And the food and the atmosphere and all that stuff. It was great. So.
All right. We can shut this segment down. I feel like that's the best one so far. Greece is like on my bucket list, and I've only heard good things between the culture and the food.
Yeah, it was great. It's like super comfortable. They're very happy that you're there. And, there's no language barrier really. And I would recommend it 100%. Sure.
All right. I'm putting it on my list. Talk to me about then, the restaurant scene in the Lehigh Valley. So you guys are obviously, a very important part of that. Is it a community? Do you view new people as sort of competitors? How is the industry itself here in the Lehigh Valley?
I mean, there's tons of other great restaurants. I say all the time, I'm like, I don't really know what other people are doing because I'm never there on like a Saturday night, right?
Yeah.
But here and there, I'll get out and stuff like that. But No, I mean, listen, there is plenty of business going around. The Lehigh Valley in general is booming, right? I mean, between all three cities, it's probably, I don't know the exact population, but high 100 to 200,000 people at least. I think probably closer to 200 with Allentown, Bethlehem, Easton. And, there's plenty to go around. There's also a lot of competition as well. So I think it's important to be on your game. And just in general, you want to do that, right? But no, I think in general, I think the community is strong, and there's different events and stuff where you meet other owners and operators, and it's always a very polite thing. And it's, we have people that we're closer friends with, and it's like, if you ever need anything, just let us know. And same goes for us with them.
I have no friends in the insurance industry, so
yeah, I can understand that.
But it is nice to kind of have that collaboration. I mean, when you think about the competition, what do you think separates your brands from the rest of them?
That's a good question. I think just trying to, like I said, like just being consistent with what you offer, and I really like the fact that we change our menu quarterly, keeps things fresh. If
but you keep the staples on there, like
our staples. Like we have at all three restaurants, we have two appetizers: the crispy chicken dumplings and crab and mango spring rolls, and those are like our best sellers across the board.
They're really good,
and those are always there. Same thing with our most of the time, the way we change the menu is it's more of like a protein swap.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So it'll be like, oh, all right. So we have the salmon, and then it'll be more of a summer setup, or then it'll be more of a winter setup, or we'll have the short ribs, which those are usually kind of consistent, like a mashed potato, vegetable sauce kind of thing. And then we'll swap out different items based on seasonality, right? Like the fall, coming up for the fall, I'm sure we'll have like a pumpkin spice martini on there, or, more of those type of like autumn flavors. And then summer right now, like at Zest, we have a pulled chicken taco with like a pineapple salsa on it, or we have seasonal desserts also too. Like we have like a lemon blueberry cheesecake that just debuted this last weekend. So lots of like fun fresh flavors for sure.
It's lunchtime. That was a poor planning job on our part. Just listening to you talk has me hungry. When you come up with a good concept, whether it's the pumpkin spice martini or whatever, do you share it across the brands? Is it held by a brand? How do you determine that?
Not typically. There will be things that we do across the board. Like if we are like, if we have things that come up and I'm like, all right, we should definitely use this the same way. That's more of like procedural things, I would say. In terms of the menu and things like that, we try to keep them different because they ultimately are their own unique. Each restaurant has taken on its own personality that's just kind of naturally formulated over since it opened, right? When we were opening Zest, we thought it was going to be one thing, and it turned out to be completely different. And then same with Thyme. There's things that we learned along the way, and then we try not to make the same mistakes twice when planning and building them out and designing them, working with our builder. And then now I'm like, okay, we did Thyme. If we would ever do another one, I'd be like, we would do these 3 or 4 things differently for sure.
Yeah.
But in terms of menu items, I'd say we try to keep them separate. But procedural wise, that is something that we definitely consider a little heavier. If it makes sense for one, it might make sense for 3, but it might not, right? Like, because each place is different.
Yeah.
So it really depends on what it is.
That is something cool. Like you guys have experience, and so you've done it, but that each one has its own unique feel. You could see that easily coming into like almost a cookie cutter, or they each are the same, but you guys really did a great job in making them feel unique, but share some similarities too. Yeah.
I mean, like we have our to-go bags have all three logos on them, right? So like the way, like marketing them together when it makes sense to, I think is important. And like, there's people that don't know that they're owned by, my family and I. So like trying to consistently keep building that brand, because we don't have like a restaurant group name or anything like that. Like some people have like a group name.
Yep.
We don't have that. We might eventually do it. But it's not something we currently have. So like letting people know that we are owned by the same group, right? So like, we were talking about events earlier. If we have somebody reach out for an event at Zest that we can't accommodate, if I know that we can accommodate at a different restaurant, I'm going to take the time. I'm going to send an email with our events managers at our other restaurants, copied on them, letting them know ahead of time so they can reach out and make sure that, we could accommodate. Obviously, we want to, we want the business.
Yeah, right.
That's why we're here.
Yep.
So it's important to also have them, connected in that sense.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure there's lots of benefits. What is your favorite part of the job?
My favorite part of the job, I feel like, is just the different things that we do each day, right? Like today I'm here.
Yeah.
And this is, I realized more recently that this is part of the job, right? Is keeping your name out there. And, we hired a marketing
Your name does a good job keeping itself out there.
Well, appreciate that. Appreciate it. But, there's still so many people that have never been to them or have been once and haven't been in a few years or whatever it might be. So this is part of the job, right? So we hired a marketing manager. She's been with us I think exactly a year in August it'll be. So making sure we have consistent branding, making sure our name's getting out there. And then, tomorrow will be a different thing. And then, this weekend I'll be at ZEST because our general manager bought a house and is moving and he needs the weekend off. So I'm going to make sure that we're all good there. So each week is different and provides different challenges and opportunities and, flexibility. Now, sure, does that mean I miss out on certain maybe personal social functions? Yeah, but I've kind of become accustomed to that and you still make it work, right? There's ways that you can still, have other things going on, but it's our lives, but I'm happy with my life. So that's a good thing.
That's awesome. And it sounds like you are in a great place right now between family, the business. So I'm really happy for you.
Thank you. I feel very, very blessed.
Is there anything that we didn't hit that we should have hit? Anything you want to talk about before we end this?
No, I mean, like I said, I mentioned we wanted to talk about the events. I mean, we can do them at any other locations, right? So 3501, we have the loft area, which is like an open air bar, restaurant combo that could probably hold up to 70 people realistically.
Wow.
And then on the rooftop at Thyme, that can hold up to 100. So we've had weddings out there. We've had, we had some big showers. We had a engagement party. So just trying to, I think one of my goals right now is to have sales in different ways besides just your typical restaurant. Out, hey, me and some friends are going out for dinner, right? We want to eventually get into the catering realm so you can have ZEST at your party. And we just actually, one thing I'm glad I thought of this. We just started doing online ordering at ZEST. So you can, we just invested in some nicer to-go containers. We sampled it out and the food was hot, delicious still. Yeah. And, in case you don't feel like getting dressed up, I say I don't care. I don't care if you come in wearing whatever, but I've heard from friends who are like, oh, we were going to go to ZEST, but we just got done at the gym and we didn't want to have to go home and shower and change and come up. But you could still have that delicious food maybe in the comfort of your home if you don't feel like coming up. So
my wife and I will do lazy date night all the time where we finally got the kids to bed, but we don't feel like doing anything else. And if I could just go and pick up a ZEST meal and bring it home, that's spot on right there.
Yeah. And what's nice is there's a loading zone, like a loading ramp at the bottom of our building. So we have a sign out there so you could just pull up and then call up and we'll bring it right down.
I don't even have to get out of the car.
No.
Oh,
and you can pay online and all that stuff. So we just launched that maybe 2 weeks ago. So a little bit of a slow start because people aren't necessarily going to think of that, but for, ZEST for to-go food. And ultimately we want people coming up to the space, but like you said, lazy date night or, you just got done a workout and you just want some protein or whatever it might be really. Yeah. Just trying to get some auxiliary sales besides just your typical, dinner.
Yeah,
for sure.
So get ZEST to go. That's the way to go. That's awesome.
If you don't feel like coming up to the rooftop, we'll bring it down to you.
Which is probably the best part of ZEST too, is the rooftop.
I would agree. The view is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But we're here to make food for people.
Absolutely. All right, Anthony, this is awesome. You guys do so much for the area. You are part of what makes Lehigh Valley special. Truly, your three brands, your three concepts really make it a special place and make it a much tastier place. So thank you for all that you and your family do, and thanks for coming on.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. Nice to meet you, and appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the YMI Talking podcast. If you enjoyed this and want to hear more content from amazing personalities in the Valley, please subscribe, leave a rating, and drop us a quick review.